North Korea.
North Korea.
North Korea.
The North Koreans.
North Korea.
North Korea. A country shrouded in secrecy and often depicted in headlines for its authoritarian regime, military parades, and nuclear weapons. But beyond the political tension and the international spotlight, what is life like for ordinary North Koreans? How do they live, work, and survive in one of the most isolated nations on Earth? In this video, we'll take a look at the daily life of people in North Korea. While it's difficult to get a full picture due to the strict government controls on information, we've gathered insights from defectors, rare footage, and expert reports to bring you as close to the reality as we can. Let's start with where North Koreans live. In the capital, Pyongyang, the country's elite live in relatively modern apartments. These apartments often have access to electricity and hot water, though supplies can be on and off. Only the most loyal citizens, typically government officials or party members, are allowed to live here. Outside of Pyongyang, however, life is much tougher. In rural areas, many homes are small and underdeveloped, with limited access to utilities. Electricity is often rationed, and power cuts can be frequent, especially outside the capital. In winter, some families rely on coal or wood stoves for heat. Next, let's talk about food. In North Korea, the government runs a public distribution system, where rations are distributed based on loyalty to the regime. The amount and quality of food you receive can vary greatly depending on your social standing. Rations include corn, rice, and kimchi, but shortages are common. Many families supplement their diets with food grown in small gardens or traded in informal markets known as jangmadang. These markets have grown since the famine of the 1990s and are one of the few places where North Koreans can buy goods outside the state system. For the privileged class in Pyongyang, restaurants and supermarkets offer a wider variety of food, but the average citizen must carefully manage their rations. Number 3, work life. For most North Koreans, work is assigned by the government. The workweek is 6 days long, with the 7th day typically reserved for community labor or ideological study. Jobs can range from factory work, farming, and construction to more specialized jobs in industries like textiles or mining. In Pyongyang, some have office jobs or work in government departments. But even these positions are controlled by the state. The average North Korean doesn't get to choose their career path. The government assigns jobs based on its needs, and people are expected to work wherever they are placed. In rural areas, the situation is often tougher. Farmers work on collective farms, but their earnings are minimal, and they have to give much of their harvest to the state. Many households still rely on bartering to survive. Number 4, education and propaganda. Education in North Korea is tightly controlled by the state, and from a young age, children are exposed to heavy doses of propaganda. School curriculums focus not only on basic subjects like math and science but also on the glorification of the Kim family and the principles of Juche, the country's self-reliance ideology. Students often participate in collective activities, such as farming or community labor, as part of their education. These activities are meant to instill loyalty and a sense of duty to the nation. Propaganda doesn't stop at school, it's everywhere. Billboards, posters, and statues of the country's leaders are scattered throughout the country, constantly reminding citizens of the state's power and their role within it. Number 5, leisure and restrictions. Leisure time in North Korea is limited and usually revolves around state-approved activities. For some, this means watching government-sanctioned films or participating in performances that celebrate the regime. North Korean TV broadcasts mostly consist of propaganda programs, and access to foreign media is strictly forbidden. In recent years, however, there has been an increase in black market media, with people secretly watching South Korean dramas or listening to foreign radio broadcasts. But this comes with great risk. Being caught with foreign media can lead to severe punishments, including imprisonment in labor camps. For many North Koreans, the constant surveillance and fear of punishment shape their daily lives. The state controls every aspect of life, from what people watch to where they can go, making the idea of freedom a distant dream for most. Number 6. The hidden struggles. While the regime promotes an image of strength and stability, the reality for many North Koreans is one of hardship and fear. Food shortages, power outages, and a lack of basic freedoms are part of everyday life. People have little say in their future, whether it's their job, education, or even where they live. For those who attempt to escape North Korea, the journey is perilous. Defectors who are caught face torture, imprisonment, or even execution. But despite these dangers, thousands of North Koreans have fled the country, seeking freedom and a better life. Number 7. Surveillance and fear. Everyday life in North Korea is also defined by constant surveillance. The government monitors its citizens closely, and any dissent can result in severe punishment. Fear of being reported by neighbors, friends, or even family members keeps many people silent. The regime demands loyalty, and people are expected to participate in public displays of devotion, from rallies to mandatory meetings where they affirm their support for the leadership. Defectors often describe the atmosphere as suffocating, a society where every move is watched. Number 8. Rural versus urban life. There's a stark contrast between life in Pyongyang and life in rural North Korea. Pyongyang residents, especially the elite, enjoy privileges that many outside the capital can only dream of. They have access to better housing, more reliable electricity, and more food. Meanwhile, in the countryside, life can be harsh. Rural families live without many modern conveniences, and many survive through subsistence farming. Despite government portrayals of a unified, thriving country, the reality for most people is a daily struggle. North Korea is often portrayed as a nation frozen in time, but the reality is more complex. Behind the dictatorship, there are millions of people living their lives, working, raising families, and, at times, quietly resisting. The future remains uncertain, but the spirit of the North Korean people endures. As the world continues to observe North Korea from the outside, we must remember that behind the political spectacle, there are millions of ordinary people trying to navigate life in one of the most secretive regimes in the world. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what aspect of life in North Korea you'd like to learn more about. Stay tuned for more deep dives into life in unique places around the world. Until next time, take care.